Breaking news out of East Elmhurst, Queens. 2 NYPD officers shot early this morning trying to stop a robbery suspect on a motorcycle. The suspect, 19-year-old, also shot and wounded. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Taitt live at the scene. The very latest from police. Phil, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Michelle. While an active investigation continues here, we just learned from the NYPD's top brass that their officers were addressing a robbery issue here in the East Elmhurst section of Queens. That's when they saw a person who was on a scooter who was going in the wrong direction. They tried to pull over that person who was on a scooter, but then that pursuit continued to be on foot. That is when that suspect had shot at officers and they had exchanged gunfire. As you're seeing right now overhead from choppers, still an active scene here in East Elmhurst, as an hours-long investigation is now underway. Police tell us right now that they have identified that suspect, 19-year-old Bernardo Raul Castro Mata. He's the suspect from Venezuela who entered via an Eagle Paso, Texas in 2023 and now lives at the former Marriott, which has since turned into a shelter. Well, he is now recovering at New York Presbyterian Hospital. Well, take a look at your screen right now. This is the gun that was recovered at the scene of the suspect that was shot. One officer was shot in the upper leg, the other officer was grazed in the stomach, and the young male suspect was shot in the right ankle. Well, moments ago we learned more about the suspect, who is now in police custody. Let's take a listen.
Our shooter has been identified as Bernardo Raul Castro Mata. He is 19 years old. He has no prior arrest in New York City. However, he is a suspect in several robbery patterns currently going on in the borough of Queens.
Senseless act of violence, of total disregard for life. Our officers responded with a level of discipline, a level of focus, a level of professionalism.
And right now you're taking a live look at the crime scene, which has still been roped off by police. Now, the good news is for this suspect, as well as for those officers, they are recovering at local hospitals and are expected to be okay. But right now it is still unclear how many shots rang out from the gun of those officers as well as of the suspect. That's the very latest in East Elmhurst this morning. I'm Phil Taitt, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Phil, thank you. Now for more, let's go to Eyewitness News reporter Raegen Medgie live outside of Elmhurst Hospital, where those 2 officers are recovering. Raegen?
And a lot of relief with all the NYPD, including Mayor Eric Adams, who opened up the press conference a bit late. The reason being is he was speaking to both of the officers who were injured in the gun battle this morning. So to reiterate, the first officer was shot in the upper leg. The second officer was grazed in the stomach, but he had his bulletproof vest on, which prevented further damage. And that is exactly how Mayor Eric Adams opened up the press conference. He held up the officer's bulletproof vest, pointed to the gunshot area where there was a bit of a hole in the bulletproof vest where the bullet penetrated, and says this saved the officer's life. And he said that both officers, as you heard Phil Taitt reporting, they treated this with a level of discipline, focus, and professionalism. So a bit more about these officers, both from the 115, that's in East Elmhurst, Queens. They're assigned to the Public Safety Unit. One of the officers only has 5 years on the job. The other officer has 2.5 years on the job. The mayor calls these officers young, bright, talented, a big future ahead of them, and brave, courageous, keeping New Yorkers safe. Now, not only did Mayor Eric Adams speak, but also Police Commissioner Edward Caban. Take a listen.
I want to thank the medical staff here at New York City Health and Hospitals Elmhurst. They worked hard on our officers. They worked with great skill for our injured officers. We're very grateful to them because we know that it could have turned out very differently.
When I spoke with the parents of these officers, I could only think of my brother and I and the impact my mom would have.
All right, so I just got word that the officers will be released from the hospital here at Elmhurst Hospital at 7:15 this morning. And we did see a couple of officers in uniforms, and it looks like they're going to have that procession where the officers leave the hospital, and it definitely will be an emotional one. 2 officers injured in this morning's pursuit of a robbery suspect in Elmhurst, Queens, and they are alive. They are in stable condition and being released from the hospital this morning at 7:15. I'm out.